Us on set this morning to respond to the minister's comments there. We have sex doctor Dr. Giriraj Ramnanan. He's known as Dr. Raj, and he is making a case to have any ban on sex toys removed. He's also here to update us on a legal letter that was sent to the Customs and Excise Division. Good morning, Dr. Raj.
Good morning to you and your listeners.
Thank you so much for taking. We also have listeners on Next 91.1. Okay. So, first of all, I'd like to ask you, what are your thoughts on the minister's statements?
Well, I think the minister needs to get his information straight. What he's saying is not true. Customs has always placed some sort of restrictions on anything that is considered to be adult toys. What the courier service is doing is they're warning people, because for any time the goods reach in the bond in the United States, the labels are changed. For example, if I'm importing something, and let's say, for example, it's pumps for men, they will change it to adult toys. The minute that becomes adult toys and it's shipped to Trinidad, it's flagged. And customs will give you a lot of trouble. They do seize the goods. They do. So whatever he's saying there is not the truth. And he should find out, because you get a lot of problems from customs because they themselves don't know what is an adult toy. There's nothing in the statute book or in law that says that this item is an adult toy. But it's determined by someone, so it's very subjective.
All right, and I'll just quote one article that the minister would have been quoted as saying. He said, there's no such classification in TNT's laws for anything called adult toys.
That's right.
The law, Chapter 7801, Section 45(1) of the Customs Act does state, however, among other things, it is prohibited to import indecent or obscene prints, paintings and photographs, book cards, and other engravings. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my goods have been seized under 7801 already, many times. So I can tell you that they do apply that. But of course, a phallic object or a representation of the human body is an adult toy, could be considered an adult toy, but it's seized under that. But there's no, it's very ambiguous. And this is where the problem comes in. So that's why we're asking for clarification. And we want this settled once and for all. I have been dealing with this for 25 years, over 25 years. So it's not something that came out yesterday. So what the courier company did was correct. They're warning people, if you bring this stuff in, it's going to be seized. Somebody is going to say this is not allowed, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be ropes that are used for bondage. Once the packaging is in a sexual way, or it's geared towards that market, it will be seized. And that has been happening for years. So the information he has and the information we have in the general public as importers and persons who deal with the industry will tell you it's not true what he's saying.
You have sent a legal letter to the Customs and Excise.
My lawyers, yes.
Could you update us on that? What was it about?
We have asked for clarification based on what's happening today in society since Friday till now with that notification that was sent out by WebSource. We're also asking for clarification as far as what is adult toys. What do you all consider an adult toys? Who are the ones making this decision? We want to know that also, because if I come to you as a custom officer, it depends on your mood of the day. You may say, and they have said it, they say it's up to the officer. So if the officer feels, okay, no problem, go ahead with it, that's fine. If the officer says, nah, I don't consider this to be something legal, I think it's illegal, I don't think you should have it, let's seize it. They embarrass people at the airport sometimes. They will take it out in front of the public and say, what you doing with this in your suitcase? And take it away from you, throw it in a bin, get rid of it, do whatever they need to do. It's the same thing when you go to face them at the customs house. They come with a battery of lawyers and they have about 3 or 4 persons sitting there and they try to intimidate you. And I'm just sitting there smiling and say, well, okay, go ahead, let's deal with this. And I've told them this 6 months ago that we're going to take it as far as the legal framework is concerned. We want clarification, and that's the start. This is just the start. We have many more to come.
So you said that this has been an experience of yours for the past 25 years.
25 years, yes.
So what would have led to the minister, coming out and making statements like these?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think he should have called someone in customs and asked them, is this true? Do you seize people's goods and that is labeled adult toys? And I could show you documents where it's labeled adult toys, and they seize it. So yes, it's not in our statute books. There's nothing like adult toys in our books, but it's still being taken. So something's wrong.
What's the big issue with adult toys?
I don't know what's the issue with those who decide to seize it, but I can tell you the use and the benefits of having adult toys.
So is it that people are uninformed or unaware
Yes, education is important. That's why I've been on the air for 18 years discussing things of a sexual nature. I'm an educator in sex. I operate a clinic where I treat people with sexual dysfunction, where you need sexual toys, what is considered to be adult toys, for treatment and for medical reason. So there are many usage of this thing. Of course, it's for comfort and pleasure also. So however a person chooses to use something, and this interferes with our basic fundamental human rights, because a person should have that opportunity to take care of themselves. Instead of getting into a relationship or thinking about STDs and STIs, if they want to use a product in their home and they want to get self-pleasure, what's wrong with that? So you have someone you have someone out there who is saying, I are going to stop this product because in my opinion, this is not supposed to be sold to the public. And you have the minister saying, you can't do that. There's nothing in law like that. But the minister is not the one who implements it, and he's not at the point of entry. The persons at the point of entry, they're not clear. So they do whatever they want to do. And I can't blow away.
You spoke about the pleasurable aspect of it, and you spoke about the medical aspect of it. Can we get into that part of it?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. What are the medical benefits?
For example, if a man has a problem getting an erection, you use things like pumps, penis rings. There are different things that you can use. You can use an anal probe. Those things are taken away from us when we bring it in. Women who have problems with penetration, lubrication, there are instruments that they can use also. So these are considered to be adult toys or novelty items, but at the same time they are used in clinics all over the world. Right? I use it at my clinic also, and I have persons who come and they want to get these products. Sometimes a person may not want to get into a relationship and they want to, for example, buy a doll. You can get a doll with all working parts, but those are also taken away. So you have to be very careful of what you can bring in. And I have been asking for the past 25 years, give me a list of what I can bring in and what I cannot bring in, and they can't provide that. No one could provide a list of items that you could bring into the country. Secondly, for pleasure, you can use anything for pleasure. You could use a cucumber at home. Women, you can use a candle. Guys have been using different devices and whatnot, homemade devices. But there are devices that are constructed especially for this. So why should you deny a person the right to buy a product that is made especially for your self-pleasure? You're not harming anyone. No one wants to be caught masturbating or doing something sexual. No one wants that. So you do it in the privacy of your home. If you buy a product or instrument to do that, that's what you're doing. You're going home, you're locking your doors, you're making sure no one hears you, no one sees you, and you enjoy yourself. So that's the pleasurable part. Some persons use it for comfort. There are men out there they find it difficult to speak to a woman or to get into a relationship with someone. So what they do is they look for something that could give them that pleasure, maybe regularly or intermittently, it doesn't matter, and that is a comfort for them. So they don't need to step outside of their marriage, outside of their relationship. We have instruments and equipment that couples can use to help with their marriage, to keep them together, to bring something into their sphere of sexual encounter, and that will help with their foreplay. There are men who ejaculate very quickly. There are devices that they can use also. So there are many things that you can do for the benefits of the person. So that's where the treatment and medical part of it comes in.
Now, there are those who may argue against
of course,
what you're
like
saying.
Everything else.
What are some of the arguments that they put forward?
Well, morally, they'll tell you that it's wrong because masturbation should be part of what you do. But of course, it has been proven that the fetus masturbates in the womb. There are things that I have not had anyone come against me with this. One person yesterday on the radio told me that she don't believe in bondage stuff because of slavery and whatnot. But it all depends on the individual. What you like, it's your private affair. What I like is my private affair. What me and my spouse does in our bedroom, that's our private affair. No one's supposed to interfere with that. And this is where you're stepping into that realm of trying to control what happens in the bedroom. You can't do that.
So you mentioned a list that you said it would be wise.
I've been asking for a list for the last 25 years. Never provided.
What do you hope to see at the end of all of this?
Clarification in the law, making sure that these things are not done in an ambiguous manner. It must not be done on a whim and fancy of the officer. It has to be a set rule that these are the... And let me give you an example. if I sell a product right now for $500, if the laws are made clear as to how you can bring it, what you can bring on the item, I can sell that product now for half the price. Half the price. Because of what we go through, we have to up that price to compensate for the goods that are seized, things that are lost, all these things. Now we could tell you that this very same product, you could get it cheaper than you could get it in the United States at retail because I get it directly from the manufacturers. So that's an advantage to the consumer out there. Now, I can tell you this. I am positive that we are going to have a lot more people saying, let's get this law straightened out. Let's do something about the law, because the cut and paste law that we have from the past, it's not going to work. The things that are stated here is when this is in the 1800s. What is happening in our present society, for example, with social media, with what is taking place in the adult industry. It's a rapidly growing industry, you know. Very big industry out there. There are things that are being invented. We have a guy in Trinidad, Mr. Lawrence, who invented something to help couples with penetration. He has, but of course it's not manufactured in Trinidad. It's made in China or whatever country. And then he has to bring it into Trinidad. But this is a Trinidadian who has invented something. So we are very innovative people. But we are not given the opportunity to expand on these things. So we are stuck. We're just going around in a circle. So we need to have these things clarified and dealt with.
What sort of demand do we have for these sorts of items?
Extreme demands. Extreme. I have been in this business publicly for 25 years. I've had the first sex shop in Trinidad on Arapita Avenue, behind the green doors. I have been doing this for a very long time. I have a cross-section, a wide cross-section of our society that comes to me. I have a store in St. Augustine. At one time, I had owned 10 stores in Trinidad. I sold them out, of course. And there is a demand for it by all segments of society, men, women, old, young, rich, poor. It doesn't matter, because there's a need for it. And if those in authority understands the need, that's why I'm here to educate. Anytime they want to get that information, I have the information. I can tell you, when I used to go to schools and talk to children, one time I was doing a lecture for Form 1s, and the questions they were asking were blowing the teacher's mind. They were like, these kids know that? I mean, yes, they do. Because with social media and the way information is disseminated now there's nothing new in sex. Sex toys and all those things have been used on time immemorial. You go back to all the ancient books and teachings and whatnot, it's there. So there's nothing new in sex. It's the dissemination of information. You have it on a smartphone. Everyone has a smartphone. You just type sex and everything comes up. But in Trinidad, the word sex is a taboo word.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Because of our society, because I think we have too much religion and too much control of individuals by religion, and that's where the problem comes in. But I'll tell you something, I have a lot of clients who come to my clinic of the religious persuasion also. So they know the use of these things, they know how treatment has to go.
What is the next step following this letter? After
the letter, well, we have another letter that's going to go out this week, maybe tomorrow, not tomorrow, by Friday, where we're seeking judicial review on some seizures that was made. And then the next step, if we get the clarification, there's a path to be taken by the lawyers, Mr. Taklal Singh and Mr. Jagdev Singh. They know what they're doing. We are then going to ask about the laws. We're going to deal with the laws now. What are the laws governing the importation of adult toys? I'm taking the forefront. I'm not asking. People are supporting me verbally.
Okay.
But those who own sex shops and whatnot, they're scared. They're very scared. All the owners of adult toys, even those who sell online, they're scared because they can't bring their product in. They know it's being seized. They know that. So when you hear the minister saying that these things are not happening, and you know it's actually happening in society, you wonder what's really going on. Is the tail wagging the dog?
What are your closing comments at this time?
I would like persons out there. I know it's not something that some individuals will put up their hand and say, I want to support this, but I want people to start writing letters to the editor. I want individuals to stand up for this right, because it's your right. It's your right for you to determine whether you should buy a toy or not. And like everything else, if they legalize adult toys, it doesn't mean to say you're going to run and buy a whole set of adult toys. You will have a choice whether you can buy it or not. And we should have that choice.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Raj.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure chatting. Well, no pun intended. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. We take a short break. A lot more when we return. Stay tuned.